This is the Phillies Postcast, your instant game reaction for the Philadelphia Phillies. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day.
Welcome into Locked On Phillies Postcast. My name is Mark Farzetta. It's great to have you along for the ride. Connor Thomas has you covered each and every day right here on Locked On Phillies YouTube channel for your Locked On Phillies daily podcast. I got you covered for your postcast needs. This particular postcast is brought to you by none other than Keaschall. For a limited time, download the Keaschall app and use promo code Locked On to get $10 when you trade $10. Phillies get a 7-1 victory. After falling 7-1 the previous day, Phillies win 7-1 today to the Minnesota Twins. They beat the Minnesota Twins today at Field of Dreams in Dyersville, Iowa. And I got to say, it was spectacular. Now, my concern last night was that the Phillies were going to somehow stain that movie for me for at least a little while by playing terribly, maybe even the bullpen getting blown up, maybe not being able to hit with runners in scoring position, maybe not being able to get the big hit, Aaron Nola pitching. Maybe he's going to be, as they were saying in the game, joking during the game, feet in the corn with giving up home run after home run after home run, but it turns out it was the Minnesota Twins doing that. Phillies get the victory, and I enjoyed every ounce of it. And yes, it absolutely got me in the feels. And as someone, like many of you, who's a huge fan of the movie, I mean, I've heard Kevin Costner talk about the movie when they were kind of pitching him the movie, and he was looking at it as like, this could be a flop. This could be, like, if I explain the movie Field of Dreams, like, okay, this farmer, he hears voices, and then he builds a baseball field. It's like, I know I was going to see that. So then fast forward like 30 years, 40 years. And they're like, hey, we're going to build a real baseball field there where Major League Baseball teams can play. And it's going to be on a streaming service, but they'll go out the window. And people will watch it. You're going to bring Major League Baseball here to reenact a movie? Yeah. That doesn't make any sense. And then you see the movie. The movie's amazing, obviously, back in the day. And then you see the way they do it. And they do it phenomenally. They do it phenomenally well. That's what the Phillies, that's what the Twins, that's what Major League Baseball did. And Netflix, I liked the overall presentation. I could have used a little less chatter with Roger the Rocket Clemens during Brandon Marsh's swim move into second base for a great steal. But, can't have everything. But you know what we did have today? We had a wonderful moment here for Phillies fans coming away with the victory, and Kyle Schwarber hitting 2 Schwar bombs as the Schwarbarian goes off. And without further ado,
this is the Locked On Player of the Game.
Kyle Schwarber, 2-homer night, leads things off. No better way to get the party started than Kyle Schwarber playing DJ for you tonight. 2-0 fastball in. He turns on it and puts it 369 feet nice over the right field wall into the corn for a 1-0 Phillies victory. This would go on to be a 31-pitch inning for Taj Bradley of the Minnesota Twins. He walks Bryce Harper after that on 5 pitches. Luis Arraez comes up, gets a base knock. He got first and third with one out. And then Bryson Stott gets another run across the plate with an RBI single. You're up 2-0, but it was all started by Kyle Schwarber. But you know what? You got to get a little greedy, because going into the 4th inning, you were only up 2-1, and we know a 1-run lead ain't no thing for this Phillies team, unfortunately. Brandon Marsh leads off that 4th inning with a walk. Then you see Justin Crawford step up there. He unfortunately grounds out, but that puts Brandon Marsh on third base, 2 outs now, because earlier in the inning, JT Realmuto struck out. Kyle Schwarber steps up there with a man on third, 2 outs, 1-run ball game, and he puts one into the right field air. Again, 2-0 fastball. This one was up in the zone. The first one was in. This one was up in the zone. He's able to tomahawk it. It's carrying. Keaschall is going to his left. He's going to his left. He's drifting. He's got it eyed up. He leaps, and you're like, he's going to make this catch. Here we go. And pink, just ping, just goes off the side of his mitt. It was a home run. It was home run distance. It didn't like bounce off his head and then go into the stands or into the corn or anything. It just glanced off his mitt, goes into a home run, 2-run home run, 4-1 Phillies lead. Phillies added more on the RBI single by Bryce Harper in that inning, but the second home run of the game there for Kyle Schwarber. And now he is just 11, I believe it is. It's 11 home runs shy of tying Babe Ruth for the most home runs hit in the first 5 years with the new team? Babe flippin' Ruth we're talking about here. It is August 13th. The Philadelphia Phillies, playoffs come around a little earlier this year. Yeah, because I think they start the playoffs actually before. Yeah, September 27th is when the Phillies play their last game. September 27th, and it's at home against Tampa. Kyle Schwarber has from now the 13th, well, now the 14th, we'll call it the 14th, well, the 15th, because they're off tomorrow. Then they're back at it against the Twins for 2 more games in Minnesota. So he's got from August 15th to September 27th to hit 11 home runs. I would go ahead and safe to say, as I knock on IKEA wood, I would say it's pretty safe to say that he's going to pass Babe Ruth for that. But, until he does it, he hasn't done it yet. So 2 home runs today, gets him 11 home runs within that. Pretty an incredible number there. Anytime you're talking about Babe Ruth, it's pretty incredible. As for
time to reveal where the game was won or lost, it's the turning point.
For me, it was that 4th inning. The 4th inning, every ounce of it was a turning point. When he came to 2 outs in the inning, it's only a 1-run game. You essentially see Keaschall with the 3rd out. Hits the 3rd out of the inning before the Phillies score a run, hits his mitt, and he doesn't come up with the catch. He comes up with that catch. It's still a 1-run ball game. Schwarber puts it out there. He can't come up with the grab. That's definitely the turning point. Bryce Harper adding to it. An honorable mention, I will say, because Aaron Nola was, a 5-inning start. I hesitate to use the word great for a 5-inning outing. Okay. But when it's Aaron Nola and it's 5 innings of 1 run, 9 strikeout baseball, that's a pretty damn good job for Aaron Nola. And he just continues to stack good outings where they're either quality, just around quality, giving your team a chance to win type of start. Not, you pitched 4 innings and gave up 6 home runs. That's not good for anybody. That's a slight exaggeration, but you get what I'm saying. He goes out there tonight, 5 innings, 1 run. The only run that he did give up was to Keaschall there. A solo home run in the 2nd inning that made it a 2-1 game. It was a 1-1 fastball that he was just able to barrel up. And that one wasn't I like the way Brandon Marsh described it. It wasn't necessarily a wall scraper over his head there in left field, but it was definitely out of reach. He would have had to Spider-Man that to get up there and make that catch, but I don't think it was possible for him to make it. Let's put it that way. It would have been an absolute circus catch if he would have made it. But it's a 1-run ball game in that 2nd inning. But then from the rest of the way, Aaron Nola shuts it down. So what's this have to do with the turning point? Well, I'll tell you. The turning point, 5th inning, you're looking at the fact that he is, for the most part, staying out of trouble throughout his start. He comes up in the 5th inning. He gets the first 2 punch outs of the game, or excuse me, of the 5th inning. Then he gets Buxton up there. He gives up the 2-out double to Buxton. Then he walks Jeffers. He had him 0-2, goes full, walks him. Then he's facing Bell, a guy we know way too well in the NL East. He walks Bell on 5 pitches. So now you got 2 runners on. So now you got the bases loaded because he gave up the double and then back-to-back walks. Bases loaded, 2 outs. Mound conference. Caleb Cotham, fee-fi-fo thumbs his way out to the mound. Everything okay? You're not going to blow this, right? All right, cool. And then he walks away, and then 3 pitches later, Aaron Nola's out of it. That situation, he's facing Lewis. He gets him to strike out. 0-2 knuckle curve, 3-pitch, drifts away, 9 strikeouts. It was all but 1 of his strikeouts. 8 of his strikeouts came on the knuckle curve, which not only had great snap to it, as we talk about it all the time, it had a little tail on it, man. It had a little run on it at the end. There was a great little finish on that where it was finishing away to right-handed hitters. It was not only having that great snap, but you could also see it have a little tail. On that strikeout to Lewis, it also had that great snap and a little tail outside the zone as well, which left right-handed batters just fishing to try to make contact with that pitch. So huge shout-out to Aaron Nola. Overall, his line on this evening in the Phillies' victory, he goes 5 innings, 1 run, 9 strikeouts, 5 hits, 3 walks. Definitely clean up the walks. 97 pitches, 58 of them for strikes for Aaron Nola. Definitely when you see that 97 pitch mark at 5 innings, you go, okay, well, that's laboring. He labored, and he did. But he also, I will say this, he would have labored a lot more had it not been for the fact that Bryson Stott could win Gold Glove at second base and third base all in the same season. Has anyone ever done that before? No? Okay, I didn't think so. Anyway, Bryson Stott came up with a spectacular play. That incredible barehanded play that he made. I forget who he got with it, but it was one hell of a play. I had to have marked it. That's it. It was on Bell. He barehanded it on Bell and got him to throw. Ran down the third baseline, great towards home. Barehanded it and threw out Bell for the final out of that third inning. That was started off by the Lanark bloop single to center, and then Buxton's able to get on because he beats out the throw. It was a double play ball. Stott, I thought, was a little slow on the delivery from that one. I just thought that was odd, but I mean, it wasn't anything damning. It was just like, that just seems like it wasn't as quick a release as I'm used to seeing from him. Maybe he didn't have a good grip on the baseball. Don't know. But either way, he came up with a miraculous play there to get out of that third inning. So I'd love to see that for Bryson Stott. Could have been worse. For Aaron Nola as far as the laboring went, but his defense had him backed up more often than not. As far as...
This is what you'll be talking about.
You're going to be talking about another good start by Aaron Nola. You're going to be talking about Kyle Schwarber getting that home run swing again. And I think you're going to be talking about how awesome this was. It really was a great job by Netflix, Major League Baseball. I told you last night, I didn't like Netflix doing the home run derby the way they tried to really, and I'm a huge Will Ferrell fan, but the home run derby of mashing those things together in the cross promotion, I'm like, no thanks. But this, I thought, pun intended, they hit it out of the absolute park. I thought the stadium looked great. I thought the game presentation looked great. It is weird, and this isn't a Netflix this is a Netflix problem at all, but you have the ABS system, but this is one game you can't have it. I thought that was pretty interesting. So I definitely missed it tonight. I will say that. And I think a couple of the hitters missed it as well. Luis Ariz did a little tap as well. I think it was his first at bat of the game. And I think he did that, just did the mess a little bit with Bruce Dreckman, who was behind the plate tonight for the Field of Dreams game. But overall, I think you're going to be talking about how awesome it was, first and foremost, that the Phillies won. I think you're going to be talking about how awesome it was just to kind of relive some of that magic that the movie is. And I mean, let's face it, when you're talking about the number one movie men cry at, it's Field of Dreams. And a lot of us, we have phenomenal relationships with baseball because of the relationship we have with our fathers. And in some cases, our mothers too. I mean, my mom wasn't afraid to put on a mitt and, go out and have a catch with my brother and I, By the way, having a catch was a big debate during the game. I'll get to that in a second. But I think you're going to be talking about how well they presented this game, how cool it was. And if you haven't already dialed up a way to get one of them jerseys tonight from the Phillies, I'm definitely getting one of them jerseys. I'm not a jersey. I don't buy jerseys, okay? I have a little rule. I don't wear a jersey of anyone I'm older than, so all my jerseys are throwbacks, okay? Shout out Randall Cunningham. Shout out Pete and Cavilla. Yeah, those are the two jerseys I own. Anyway, when it comes to this particular jersey, there's no name on the back, so I can pretty much buy whatever I want. There we go. But they are pretty sick. Having a catch versus playing a catch. I'll discuss in the comments with you when we come back. This is Locked On Phillies Postcast and the Locked On Phillies YouTube channel. Back after this, and I tell you about the incredible people at Amazon, especially when it comes to back to school. Oh, man. Kids are getting ready for back to school. Big thank you to our friends at Amazon, by the way, for making it so easy for back to school shopping, where you can spend less on your kids with Amazon. We all know how crazy back to school shopping, how crazy that experience could be. It starts with a few items on the list. Then suddenly you start looking for school supplies, clothes, lunch gear, tech, about 10 other things you didn't see coming. That adds up real fast. The school supply list, when you look at that list and you think, wow, shopping for one child? Is that what I'm doing? Or am I trying to open up a small office supply store? Didn't realize first grade required this much inventory. Shopping like this can get out of control if you're not careful. How about the technology? Man, when the school says your child needs a calculator, headphones, tablet for class, and somehow you're buying another one before the semester is even halfway over? Since when did kids need so much technology for second grade? You know what I mean? So help yourself out with Amazon. Amazon's low back-to-school prices is where you can spend less on your kids, because every dollar you don't spend on them is a dollar you haven't spent on them. Shop back to school at Amazon and spend less on your kids. I did call my dad during the game, and he answers the phone. Hello? And I go, Dad? And he goes, what? What's wrong? And I go, you want to have a catch? And he goes, are you watching the game? I'm like, of course I'm watching the game, Dad. Of course I am. And I go, by the way, we always grew up saying having a catch, right? He goes, I've never heard it any other way. I go, because I've definitely say having a catch, but certain groups of friends, we played catch. Like we made a game of it. Now, if you're going out before a game, hey, you're going to have a catch, let's have a catch. Boom, you're throwing the ball around, getting warmed up, all that stuff. Or, hey, you're killing time, you're having a catch. But me and my buddy Ryan Anderson growing up, we would play catch. We would try to make the other person miss somehow. Or the greatest thing ever, maybe like at my grandmom's house, there was a fence and you could jump up over the fence. So we would try to just put it right to make it look like you were robbing a home run. That was playing catch. Having a catch is just like, hey, just throwing it around, getting loose, usually before a game. But I believe the art of playing catch was before iPads. So what I'm saying now is it's dead. It was before all this technology. It was where, like, if you were stuck at your grandmom's or something and you had one cousin there, you went out and you played catch. You know what I mean? But before a game, it was always having a catch. That's what that, if I had to, what is it generally? It's having a catch. But there are moments where you were playing. I know so depends on where you grew up. Some people called it like fabulous catch. We never called it that. Like if you were actually trying to like fake rob home runs, or there was a line of hedges, bushes, whatever, and you act like that was the wall. And if you fell into it, you got all the stuff all over you. Oh man, it was a good time. Home run robbery, we would call it. That was more of the playing of catch. Splitting hairs. All right, let's get into the chat check. But before I do that, Phillies, like I said, back at it Saturday night, 7:10 start time in Minnesota. Jesus Luzardo going to get the start in that one for your Philadelphia Phillies. Let's get into the chat check and see how wonderful people are doing this fine evening. Netflix was hoping so bad that Nola folded. Thank God he overcame some bad calls by the umpire. Don't blow it, Penn. Yeah, well, they didn't, fortunately. Graham, what's up, Graham? Let's see how we back this up before we start singing along to Katrina and the Waves doing backflips. Love the reference. And I agree. Do it again. Like, I think the Phillies understand that we all have trust issues with the Phillies, right? Like 7-1 victory isn't going to make us go, here you go, World Series, baby. No, it's not going to make us feel like that. But I will say, baseball's a lot easier when Aaron Nola only gives up one home run. The bullpen does its job. How about Orion Kerkering? Nice little inning there for him. Nice to see that. Shout out to him. Joan Duran got the save, or not a save, but went out there against his former team. Great way to end it there, catching the line drive, getting the double play up there at the first base. Great to see that. Yeah, baseball's a lot easier when your pitchers do their job and Kyle Schwarber hits home runs. And Brandon Marsh with a 2-run home run as well. Luis Arise, I know I have it in the graphic there, but also 3 hits tonight. How's about that? Evelyn, hello. Maybe we should play the rest of the season in the cornfields. Do it. Did y'all see Stott's cleats? Saw them on Instagram yesterday. Pretty damn cool. I did not, Evelyn, but good for Bryson Stott. Finally, run support for Nola, even though we are probably done scoring this weekend. Who was it yesterday that said, we just see that game where they score like 7 or 10 runs? Whatever. Somebody said it in the chat yesterday. 7 or 10 runs, and then they'll score 1 run for the rest of the weekend. John, turns out they just needed to play in the middle of a cornfield there. Love you, Farzy. Love you right back, John. Appreciate you. Tonight reminds of us. There we go. Tonight reminds of us all the once good with the Phillies, and it could be again, Farzy. Do you want to have a catch? Oh, wait. Okay, I'm sorry. Now you're quoting. You're quoting Ray Kinsella. Oh, I'm blanking on his dad's first name. Was his first name in the movie Ray as well? I can't remember. But that's the line for the movie. It's beautiful. Hands down the most enjoyable evening of baseball all season. Everybody hits. That's well put. Bam Man back in the playoffs, baby. Let's go. Bam Man. Nola gets the first win since May, and it was well-deserved. Pitched very well. I agree. RF, wonder if it helped them refresh themselves. I'm not going to say that just yet. You certainly, we talked about turning around. Let's hope that the turnaround is either this game or maybe the off day tomorrow. That's the turnaround. This team needs a turnaround. They need an epic turnaround as soon as humanly possible. As we sit right now, the Philadelphia Phillies are occupying the third wild card spot with the Arizona Diamondbacks technically a half game behind them. That's the way that one's going right now. The Diamondbacks were off tonight. So that's the way that cookie crumbled. So there you go. Mark Carr. Hi, Mark. Hi, Mark. Extremely happy for Knowles, as am I. Hello. Go Phils. Absolutely. Jeffrey, dang, Mark, you seem to be in a better mood tonight. It's amazing how a win can cheer up the host. Go Braves. Thank you, Jeffrey. Yes, I am pretty happy about it. Hey, Buddy Christ, where you been? Save some of these runs. There we go. Kind of cool. I want one of those Field of Dreams hats. Those are pretty cool. Nola is Nola again? Maybe. Lincoln Hawk. Lincoln's Hawk, excuse me. Thundercats. Ho. Lion-O. Okay, thank you. Game was amazing. T. Clark, love it. Maze, Corn, anybody? No? Okay. I had a similar thought, Milton. I love that you say this. Love how the Phils trolled the Twins, bringing in Duran with a 6-run lead. That was next level. Cleats hand painted to have a picture of Tug, Halliday, Dalton, Robin Roberts, Ashburn, and Harry K. That's awesome. Evelyn, I will check that out. Thanks to everybody in the chat. You guys are wonderful as per usual. I'll be back with you guys. Not tomorrow. Try not to miss me too much, okay? Tomorrow, Friday night, off night. You guys get a night off from me. I'll miss you all dearly. Hopefully you won't miss me too much. The missus are going out for a lovely sushi dinner to celebrate the fact that I actually have a Friday night off. I've had a few of those this year. That's been a good time. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. See you guys Saturday night, 7:10 start time after Jesus Luzardo hopefully helps the Phils to a 2-game winning streak. Or as we like to say, 2 in a row. One more after that is a winning streak. By the way, speaking of putting together baseball movies, Patrick Renna, also known as Hamilton Porter, I believe, was sitting behind home plate tonight in the Field of Dreams games. That is a world's colliding moment of some of my favorite baseball movies right there. Thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Back with you guys Saturday night. See you guys then. Bye.